Здесь вообще не слушает никто. Я думаю, не может. Мгм. Что? Что это мне?
Once I was a crusader for the Divine Order. I pledged my life to Lucian the Divine. The war changed everything. He sent me to save the elves I grew up amongst. I arrived too late. Lucian ordered the use of death fog against the Black Ring, annihilating everyone I once knew in the process. Now I'm a mercenary killer, one of the infamous Lone Wolves. And my next target is none other than Lucian's own son.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
The things I do to complete a contract.
Oh, everything's spick and span. Nothing left to do, really.
No lesions, no trauma. It was pure magic.
Nice haircut, Smiley. Nice haircut, Smiley.
Ah, you're up. Not to... In the means, you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. The good ship Merryweather. But you can stand at ease there, Private. You do realize you're not...
Index fingers pressed to her lips. She pauses a moment to give you a scrutinized...
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're on... A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Source spells of yours? See what happens.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to...
My, look at the concentration on you. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It neuters you, of sorts. For your own peace of mind, of course.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time.
Нет, всё.
Гости привезли там.
Развлекать было.
This again.
No trauma. It was bled by magic.
Ah, you're up. Yes. Looks like that. There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar. In the means, you'll find him on the other... The good ship Merryweather. But you can stand at ease there, Private.
Index finger...
My word. Oh well. And what...
Currents of...
There you... For your...
Bloody murder. Looks like someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass. Behind the Magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Or aren't you enterprising? Oh, go ahead. She with the...
Ugly sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwalker followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. We'll find out who did this.
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course. Not with that collar on, you aren't. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that? Thanks. So, anything interesting? I'll take that as a no. So, anything? Right.
As soon as we get to Fort Joy, it'll be time to have words with this Boris fellow.
A no doesn't become a yes over time.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like
snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like. Rolling dice, deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't your...
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy...
Never say never, though.
She eyes you quite serious.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last.
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue. Efficient, like a...
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seems you and another elf, only rather more vigorously.
She pats you on the shoulder consolingly.
There, don't you worry, darling. Your secret... I don't let...
Perhaps the Magister's more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me. You clearly don't know
The Magister starts, recognition growing on his face as he looks...
You look...
The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step backwards, then...
It is you. Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander way back in the war.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one. We just get to the part where I reassure you and you shut up. You think me mad? Mad? Insufferable, surely. What are you trying to hear anyway? I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough.
The Magister smiles, a tight little smile of pride. With visible effort, he stops himself from saying whatever it was.
On your way, sorcerer. On your way.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh...
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would of fetching. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find pride. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Ah, music. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of... the very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked. As per your own testimony, you can cook... I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, of course you accept. Mine was... Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we...
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten. Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very...
Would you put a knock...
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one... He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that? To me, you should be a little more afraid. There's a killer about, after all. The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates. The groaning of wood from...
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who... But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like... Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One...
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your...
It's the wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman Pardon my beard. That means... If we've been traveling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. No indeed, boy. But that...
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy. How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile.
Water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen...
You one of them? A divine order loyal? They killed a sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
It was one of them. I
Nay.
know it.
You put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate. Well, you aren't here on my list. Scram, eh? We're trying to cut... I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently tugging at it.
Fascinating.
He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence.
Oh no, my instinct to survive is... Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some... You have my apology. Perhaps I should demand the same from those red-cloaked humans. They laid their hands on me more than once. I do not believe I've been drawn anywhere. It is a quaint little read, but it has its faults. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Oh, please. I have no interest in... No. I want to know about the Celestial. This text tells me that they created all creatures. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Of course you... Now please, run along. I have a world to decipher.
No amount of pestering will get the elf to take his eyes off his book, or...
Here to register. You faring okay so far? Trust me, with Bishop Alexander in charge, things will get a lot better from here on out. You head on in now, Williams.
Sing us a song. I know you can. I wasn't... Do you know Los? You look like my...
Ah, there you are. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be... What? What's so fun?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and get, and maybe I'll sing...
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right? Nope. Trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every... You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds...
Good luck, Chief.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken
Shoot to kill.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then?
Yes, I did. But of course that...
She turns her head and looks you.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God. You there, sorcerer. Go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for it.
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She doesn't stir. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor. You hear a faint.
Oh! What happened? Water? Wine?
The lizard's eyes close as he sleeps. The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
It's no use.
The dice rolled up.
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor.
Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards.
Thank the gods!
He eyes the collar circling yon.
Another sorcerer!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Like you don't know? Mutiny!
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there, Rix! Take...
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. The Magisters look to each other.
Your lies end...
Onwards and upwards. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters. God damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick.
He eyes the collar's...
Another source!
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes...
He whispers loudly to the other Magister.
Don't just cower there!
Rix grabs his sword. The Magisters look to each...
Your lies... Another...
The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you.
Like you
He whispers.
Don't just...
Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm with... The Magister...
Your lies...
Alexander. Just in case we forget who holds us captive.
Through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarre. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley.
No. What damn fools It catches fire. It turns into must when wet. It cannot even resist.
The skeleton looks up.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book.
Yes, indeed. It's the look. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have luck. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me... A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her... Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a... I would say good day. But it seems
the skeleton shrugs casually and... The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen
Deathlock, I need to get out of here now.
Gods, I need to get off this ship.
Means there's still a chance.
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old story.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to know that...
Said there were other people down there.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you. There's a ladder right over there.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear?
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious.
If you can walk, get yourself up the ladder. There's a... Wait! Void Woken!
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary. Let the games begin.
Are you ready?
They who are about to triumph salute
These beardless bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
don't have much time.
We make a pretty good team.
I hear something. It's magic.
She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to step. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister C1's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. C1 clutches something within the ship, snaps. The floorboards shudder. C1 struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship...
It's ripping the ship apart. This is it. She's going down.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
So the Order's right about one thing. We attract Voidwoken. Am I the lone survivor? Only one way to find out.